so low, this feeling just can't leave me alone. It makes me know I want it all. Oh yeah, 'cause I've got a fire deep within. It's a strong desire to touch the sky and take flight. I'm gonna take the world 'cause it's mine. I want it all, I want it all, I want it all. Till we touch the sky and take flight. I want it all, I want it all. Cause I've got a fire deep within. It's a strong desire to touch the sky and take flight. I'm gonna take the world 'cause it's mine. I want it all. Until we touch the sky and take flight. I want it all. I want it all.
Set the world on fire, fire. We can set the world on fire. We can set the world on fire. We can set the world on fire.
You're just going direct. I can hear you now. That's nice.
Well, I had to step away for a minute.
Well, these guys are already into it, so
Yeah, we're already a turn or two in. It looks like I had to break up a cat fight.
oh geez,
Yeah,
classic.
I believe I'm still muted. I don't know.
I think he's still
miss,
muted.
Bromley?
Well, these guys built some cards, and then the Bakugo played some cards and dealt some damage. I think this is a Levi, right? I can't see.
Should be an Irwin.
You're an Irwin.
I believe 23 health. It should be an Irwin Smith. At least it looks like the alt-art Irwin.
Okay.
It looks like the same character Broberg was playing.
Ah. That's probably true.
So one thing I think is really cool about this Bakugo deck is it's running out suited up, which is an asset that a lot of Bakugo players were excited for, the Bakugo 4. But then they learned it didn't work explicitly with rabble rousing. And I know at least one player who went, oh, well, this deck doesn't work anymore, and like threw it out. And I think Suited Up is still perfectly fine. It still works during the enhanced stuff with all the enhanced -1s you do. And because of the way Bakugo works, you can use Suited Up to get +2 damage on every attack, which is way better than just +1. And on top of that, when you're playing against all these casino-style Yahtzee decks, they're adding a lot of +2 bonuses, and you'll be able to -1, and maybe that matters on a Twisting Azure Inferno to prevent the bonus to checks.
Yeah, I mean, with all of this, I mean, he's even playing. This is an air deck, right? Or no, it's Death with an air attuned card. That screws me up every single time. But yeah, you know, what we were just talking about is it doesn't matter because we just put a combined firepower into the card pool.
Yeah, unfortunately, combined is almost certainly going to put us well over this damage threshold, especially if we get any of the other remove triggers. It looks like we didn't. It looks like we just got 1 hit plus the 2 damage for playing an action. So, or we might have gotten 1 other damage pump before this. Otherwise,
as long as you got 1 plus the action being played, it's going to get to 7, right? It looks like it's for 7 right now. So it only hit 1 non-attack card. Okay, we're responding. There must be another one in there. You know, these pearlescent cards or obsidian cards, whatever they're, really hard to tell what they are.
Yeah, that is very true. The readability from far away, not great. It is a cool new treatment. They've done basically something new with foils. I think every single set in some capacity, whether they changed how chromes are, or they've added a new foiling, or they added a different XR style foiling and things like that. The obsidians and pearls, it seems to be that everyone likes pearls but doesn't like obsidians.
I like them both.
Yeah,
I think they're both really cool looking. The obsidians are definitely harder to read,
right.
but like they're both very difficult to read. Like they're there because they're full arts. But as you can see, a second combined firepower being played, which means this guy was for 10, 9.
And it goes unblocked because we got that -1 to the check, and we did not want to commit out for it. So
yeah. Bakugo for sure has what we would call a fat butt, 29 health character, but 30. Oh, right. We lost 1 because we milled a hostile or what's the not 0 diff card?
It should be hostile interrogation.
Yeah, and so that's where the extra damage came from. But so 30 health, even more than what I thought. But you can see our board is not what I would call the most defensive, right? League interview can't be used while it's committed. The only pieces we have here are Suited Up, which is actually kind of choice into the amount of DR going on here, right? If we can get it committed. Which side of it is plus damage? Which side of it is? Let's go find out. Suited Up. The ready side is speed. Oh no, the ready side is damage. Okay, so that's actually a lot of minus damage once per attack. If we're attacked 5 times, we could be 5 health from that card. All that I said about damage actually out the window. This guy is minus a lot of damage on board, including the oh my goodness, the Kinky Dora 2 diff is like unmatched something or other.
Unmatched Challenger.
I think that might be what it is.
Relentless Challenger, I think, is the plus or minus one.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's interesting here is we could have used breakdancing to discard the face down from our card pool, and we could have blocked that first 10 damage move. And I think we are going to regret not doing so because we're about to get to a point where there is no more blocking. Blocking is not an option anymore. And it's all going to come down to how much damage can we pile on to this Tri-Gravity Beam and or one more move after this. Because spoiler, Bromley, we can pass another 4 diff. we can pass another 3-diff, even if we have to destroy our entire stage to do it.
Yeah, I'm fairly confident that we'll be able to play another move on a 6. You could take a risk on it. You would pass it, right? Barring that, you could just play a risky if you think that the Bakugo is going to be incapable of blocking it. We don't have a hand, right? That was the last card that just got removed.
Correct. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just a tallying.
I'm also wondering if we have been doing the suited up response. I don't think we've done the -1 damage on the first 2 attacks. And so if we had 11 health, a world where that matters, 11 health and then we -1 here.
Oh, you think we didn't respond with suited up?
I don't think so. I didn't see it happen. I don't know for sure. I could be wrong. But I know that I didn't see the number go down. They might just, a lot of times when you're messing with the app, you just put it up to the number, right? You don't do the full motion. So it could have happened.
Yeah, it might have been a situation where he milled 2 non-attack cards. I wasn't paying attention too much.
Exactly.
And yeah, we're building a card?
Okay, but it is a really good one. Immortal Shapeshifter does a ton in this deck. Very surprised Brobird's list was only playing 2 of it. A card that he was playing 4 of is Knott's Flask, though. So not surprised to see this one come down at all. Plus or minus 3 damage for a 1-diff card. Very, very powerful. Not something you even want to commit to pass a check 90% of the time.
I know this is a 7-hander, but I just saw like 9 cards in our card pool and we still gripped 3 for defense. Combined Firepower is such an insane card. I cannot believe that it's still out here.
I like the fact that Combined Firepower at face value doesn't seem super impressive, but it's got like 4 abilities on it, and they all come together to be an intense powerhouse.
Yeah, that's a crazy card.
If you just slam Combined Firepower into any old deck, it probably does nothing. You know, if you don't have ways to trigger the response to play from discard, it's a dead card so much of the time. Mm-hmm. And yet, as soon as you put even like 8 pieces of synergy, as soon as you're building, or your character activates it, you get so much value just from being able to play it. And then that's not even saying that we have cards that we want to mill in our deck, right? Once you add cards that you want to mill, things just go completely over the top.
Yeah, it's a card that scales like immensely with the amount of synergy that you have for it. And luckily for the card, there's just like an immense amount of synergy for it, right? So much so that you can just chain them into each other, right? Like people think about. I was watching a friend play a deck with the Moonfish 1-check. I don't know if you remember the name of that one. That's kind of a right, but like.
Wait, Moonfish has a one? Oh, it's the promo that came later.
Yes, it's not from his kit.
It's something Storm.
Storm of Blades. Yeah, it's that
Storm
one.
of Blades. Yeah.
Right, so that one has like this wonderful little like mini game where you're like, what if I hit Storm of Blades all the way down? Right, Storm of Blades, the Storm of Blades, the Storm of Blades, and it turns out if you give that sort of effect to a 5-check, and they can chain into each other, it can get really, really crazy.
Right. What's better, playing a 1-check attack that does 3 damage, or a 1 difficulty action that deals 3 damage?
Right, exactly. Yeah, it gets more. And here we see a really interesting move for Bakugo, and I guess this is the reason why we're playing these Aeratune cards, the clear cards from card pool, right? I've seen a lot of Bakugos that are really ripping into the hand discard, right? The hand control. But we see here Luna Tijeras is a card that really cares about cards being discarded from card pool. So instead of caring about cards being discarded from hand, the thing that Sam Tate hates the most in the world, he's discarding things from the card pool, which is Sam Tate's second least favorite thing in the world.
What? That's my favorite thing in the world.
Oh, really?
And my second least favorite.
Oh, it's both. I think there are 2 sides to the Sam Tate coin.
No. You strictly misunderstand why I hate making a mockery of the card pool. Okay. I hate it when everyone's doing it. I want to be the hipster.
Oh, you want to be the guy.
My card pool.
I see.
When it's easy to do and everyone's doing it, it's not fun and impressive anymore.
Right, yeah, then it's just what everyone's doing.
Do you know the low quality of cards I used to play just to clear my card pool?
Yeah.
They were certainly not 3 mid-7 throws.
It's interesting. We open with 2 of these, right? This is ideally one of the ones you play later on in a string too, which tells me that this is probably the only attacks we have in our hand. If we had opened with, if we had something else to open with, I think we would have opened with them, right? Because these are both 6 diff cards.
And we didn't use get in, get out to not only reduce the difficulty of the second one, but also clear that progressive, right? Yeah. And we haven't seen the Bakugo once per turn either. So maybe we're hoping to hold on to some momentum.
I don't know. Well, I mean, does he live another turn?
This is a 13 damage throw against a 7-hander who really doesn't have a lot in the way of throw hate. Both available main board and sideboard. And I don't think people are too afraid of throws in general in this format. So double Luna to Harris might be doing enough work here.
Oh my gosh.
That our Irwin players in too bad of a position.
I mean, maybe we just didn't have the... No, it's a mid attack. Certainly it could have been blocked feasibly, right? I mean, that's it. That's the end of the tale, as it turns out.
Did we... I think... Maybe I missed something. Did Irwin not have cards in hand?
I thought he had 3.
He got down to a point where the attack was lethal on a partial, so...
That might be it.
Interesting. I came in late on this one, so I'm going to chalk it up to that. Because I definitely missed some...
I know that with Suited Up and the Relentless Challenger, each attack was getting functionally 4 damage, right? Because you -1 with Relentless, respond with Suited Up, both times getting +3 damage, right? So, and if we had anything else on board that was giving minuses, it was getting even bigger. But yeah, I watched it all happen. I don't know how it did though.
Yeah, the Genkai's Guidance ripping a card out was a real big deal, and then we were down to no cards in hand with a 13 damage move. So
that'll do
it. Your 7-hander just a little too squishy when we're not able to block everything.
Genkai's has another ability on it? That's crazy.
Genkai's...
I thought we were just showing that we had it in our hand, like, like, hey man, if you attack me next turn. Wow, okay, I didn't realize it did that. That's crazy.
Well, we may have... I talked in the last match about how we needed to do a little more disrespecting of our opponents. It turns out this time Irwin was a little too disrespectful. If you're going to aim for the king, you better aim for his head.
Both of them were definitely just like, I don't know, do it to each other, right? Like they were both just like, if you got it, you got it. And one of them certainly did have it, but we see Bakugo getting it on the back end because of, like I said, his fat butt. Because of that 30 health,
Yeah, and putting Bakugo down to a place where a Relentless Challenger was active is real scary. We're so used to seeing that card almost like exclusively in Ghidorah's because it's active the whole time.
Right.
And as players' health totals get larger and damage gets larger, falling into that sweet spot is a lot harder.
Yeah.
And so it's one thing where it's on 2 of Bakugo 4's best symbols. I don't include that card in a lot of my builds just because I find it so unreliable. And yet for Luke here, it's done wonders in game 1.
I mean, won a game, right? It's kind of like the old evil strategy where you're like, I'm just gonna soak up all the damage early, and I've got desperation moves and stuff that triggers when I'm below half on play, and that's one of those cards where you're just like, if you're trying to prey on people who are being really aggressive early, it can do it, right?
Yeah, and I think I was glad to see the aggression from the Irwin deck. I felt like it was in a great position. I really expected there to be one more attack. I expected there to be
I thought there'd be two more.
four-diff,
I was expecting two more. I thought there was going to be another four-diff into. Sorry, my dog. One of the things of commentating at home is that I'm sure you deal with it too. That your needy animals have needs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought there was going to be two more attacks. So the fact that he pumped the brakes, I think it was right after he read the Relentless Challenger and then said, "Oh gosh, -2 on every move is bad," and maybe he just didn't have the math,
Right.
after the fact.
It became a problem much quicker than I thought it would. So we do have a nice little 4 build here coming out from Irwin. That League Invitation is a really popular card now, but you typically see it with the 4 check attacks, with the above 6 difficulty cards. We're doing this mostly, I would have to assume, to mill some risky encounters and to just smooth out in case we check a 2 by accident.
Yeah, I think the 2 check has to be the one true 2 check, right? The Bakugo 2 check from that set.
Yeah, Explosive Rebuke is definitely a card we saw in game 1. We saw it in the discard pile, though. That card is so bananas. One of the only 2 checks that I feel currently earns its 2 check in this format. And it's just kind of a shame that it feels almost character specific to Bakugo 4. But one card that is definitely not character specific, Twisting Azure Inferno.
Yeah, and we see a board here that's pretty good at that could see a dead Bakugo, right? If Bakugo is incapable of blocking any of these things here, right? Finally Awake plus the loss of consciousness and the oh my goodness, the one with Levi and Mikasa on it.
I'm with you.
I'm with you. I was going to say lie with you, which is not what that card says. And we've got an Aaron's trial. Like, this could be, oh my God, 2 twisties? Did the first one get to 7? Or was it just like lobbed for 4? What?
It was sent for 4.
I know there's a combined in the discard pile. I know there's a combined in our hand.
And so this is sort of the opposite, right? In game 1, we saw a healthy amount of aggression, and now we're seeing things played maybe a little too safe. Because if we weren't willing to do the Finally Awake and get things revved up on the first attack, it seems a little strange that we would be willing to do it on the second attack. You would want the check bonus to everything, right?
I guess. I mean, so we see here. Finally Awake is commit for +1/+1 to a mid or high attack.
Correct. You have to commit any foundation.
Okay. I have used Finally Awake in some of my weapon decks where you can use it with deft maneuvers.
Yep.
Where you commit a foundation, then destroy it for 2/2 on stuff. It's a nice little combo. But yeah, so that's cute. You can commit something and then destroy it with Irwin for 2 speed. Remove it, right? Make them commit things. Respond. Oh my gosh.
On combined firepower.
Wowzers. Yes. And we see that's what's happening here, right? But I mean, not going for it on the first one was kind of a mistake if you're planning on going for it a second time,
Yeah, I mean, it does kind of work out here. We end up with a 6 mid for 11, getting 6 additional damage from the combined firepower mill and the response on Twisting Azure Inferno. And then, of course, the +1 from Finally Awake. This is only barely blockable, and I think we would need to either check a 6 or use a 0 block.
Oh, my God. The rich get richer.
The firepower from hand, and we hit a second firepower, and that's important that it's on the check, because if we get another remove effect from this mill, we can remove and respond again, but it looks like we didn't, or at least we're choosing not to use I'm with you.
Okay, so at 6 speed, we've only got 2 face-up foundations. -1 to the check can get negated, quote-unquote, by the league interview. If you check 8, you have to check a 6, exactly. Yeah.
Correct.
Unfortunate. But, so we're just going to go to 12. Just taking a humble little 18 damage this turn. Here comes a battle or release.
This is looking very similar to last game. We're getting a bit better damage numbers in.
Oh my goodness. So you got to respond. This could be lethal, right?
If we're hitting all the buttons correctly,
This would be so funny if we miss it, right? If we mess up the timing, right? And we live through this, right? If the last thing that's played is a risky maneuvers, what could end up happening is, because I know what's in the
no,
we
didn't give the damage before destroying a face down.
Oh,
and we didn't destroy the card that seals league interview.
Oh,
which gives +1 to a block check. So
yeah.
this is.
I mean, it's going to be the same speed as the twisting, right? Because you can destroy with Irwin to give it 2 speed.
Correct, but depending on how we check in the block mod,
yeah,
the flip for +1 could matter to cancel that out, because it should be only one twisting
anyway.
Azure Inferno active.
Yeah, now it's unblockable.
Right. Well, now we're going to get the remove. Now we're going to seal league interview. So it all worked out in the end.
Yeah, it's okay. We knew it was on top of the deck.
It turned out okay. So this is for 8 damage.
Is that an 8? It's a little, yeah. So the thing is, if Risky gets played, right? If we destroy all 3 for Risky, Genkai's gets used, and we both go down to 0 foundations, which I think would be the funniest sequence of events. All right, yeah. So I would love to see that happen.
This is what's happening. You're going to get your
4,
wish.
5, 6. It's still failable, right? Okay, never mind.
With +1 to the check.
No. Let's go back to turn 0, sir.
Oh, it's happening.
Well, we destroyed for cost. That's going to get removed. And
we got the Risky to Genkai's to no stage.
Oh, my goodness. Beautiful thing. A beautiful thing it is to see a completely cleaned board. All right, yeah, so we start over again, but this time I'm at 4 and you're at 23.
Right, we're going to mulligan the game.
Yeah.
So from a certain point of view, if Bakugo builds a good foundation base into next turn, and Irwin doesn't build a foundation at all here, if this fails for whatever reason, it's not going to, but if Irwin ended up with 0 foundations and Bakugo got like a 5 build, there's a world where that's good enough, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everything.
You play the cards that are put in front of you, right? So I could see a situation where Bakugo says screw it and sends it, right? I could also see a situation where Bakugo, here it comes, checks a 3. Oh my god. We're in there. Sorry, I had to put the evil juju out there so that it would get there late, because they're on the other side of the world.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
it'll get there for the Irwin's turn.
Yeah, and Irwin's pretty lucky to get that 1 foundation built, just because the difference between having 1 -2 speed activation and having no -2 speed activations could mean, the difference between whether or not Bakugo can make something happen here. Because if we are going to, basically pray and check 5s here to take some lives, we need to start with rabble rousing.
Yeah. I'm surprised that the Irwin didn't use their counters to build a card from the top of their deck for, at enhanced speed, right? That's the one enhance you could. And certainly we had destroyed 3 foundations and gotten 3 counters. How many counters do we need for Irwin to build?
3 or 4. It should be 4.
It's 3. It's 3.
It's 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we were counting, we would have done it, right? Because we destroyed 1 during the I guess it's 1 game event when you destroy 1 or more.
Correct.
Event.
You get 1
so we
counter
only have
for
2.
Risky. You get 1 counter every time you hit, though, as well. But we also spent 3 to build 1 last turn. So I have no idea where we're at.
Oh, so maybe we're just out. Okay. I got it. I didn't realize we had built from the Irwin ability.
I think we ended that turn with 1 counter, but I could be wrong. All right, things are wide open, but I don't think Bakugo can pass any more attacks. I think they are 5.
That's what you thought, sir.
Well, is this the one that readies 2 1-diffs?
It's one of the many era-tuned attacks, I think. We'll go find it. This is... Nope, not Ascend to Battle.
Very
No.
funny.
There's a lot of these that look like somebody spinning around with swords.
Well, they all do the same move. That might be my only
Yeah.
complaint, like in the manga especially. They probably switch it up in the anime a bit,
That they
but like
spin
in the
in the air.
manga, they all just do the same exact spinning move where their swords are both on the same side of their body.
I cannot for the life of me tell you what this one is. I'm gonna find it if it's the last thing I do. All right, Luke. Let me see that deck list. No deck list. Curses.
Oh, you don't
All
have
right.
access?
Maybe it's a
Just have
death
access.
card. I thought I had access, but I haven't logged in. That'll
That's
do
what
it.
I did. I also didn't log in. That's very funny.
It turns out if you log in, you get access. All right.
You're trying to find the name for the attack?
Yes.
It's switch to vertical maneuvering. It's a 4-diff, 5-low, 3 that says that has response after this attack deals damage. Ready 2 1-diffs that haven't been readied yet.
Cool.
Why did we get rid of refresh? We didn't like refresh? I
Yeah.
thought refresh was fine.
I was okay with refresh, but I guess they just didn't want more keywords, maybe?
Maybe it sounded too much like response. I don't know.
Mm.
I cannot imagine. We have Outwit now, though. We have so many
we
new...
certainly have followed it up with even more.
Yeah, like
keywords.
refresh wasn't even like an ability type. It was just a game term like mill. So let's see here.
Yeah. Well, we see Bakugo attacking 3 times into building 2, and now we see Irwin attacking and building off the top of our deck with Irwin, right?
Well, I may not have foundations to play attacks, but you don't have foundations to block them.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to me.
Oh God. Oh, we've been vanquished. All right, game 3.
We got ourselves a game 3, and he shows him the grip. I had all these.
Wowzers. Okay, yeah. So respect where respect is due. He could not play foundations. He was doing the best he could.
And it turned out to be correct. It was objectively correct, and you were wrong.
Yeah, that's probably true. I often am wrong.
You know what deck I would love to see in this event if I could just add a 13th deck or swap one deck out?
What?
I would love to see George Zhang's Mothra deck.
Yeah, me too, bud. Me too.
George Zhang's Mothra deck into this sort of a format would be so funny, watching Bakugo and Irwin destroy their whole stage while Mothra
I
has
built
18
14,
foundations.
Well, I'm just saying, we had the opportunity to see Mothra into Kevin Broberg's Irwin style deck, right? But you guys chose to put George on in the first round instead. Shame. So we'll never know how that goes.
Well, to be fair, I watched the George versus Broberg match. It was very one-sided.
Yeah,
But Broberg was not destroying all of his foundations
right.
turn 2. So
Yeah.
it's a very different play style.
That's the benefit to playing something like this Irwin deck is you can build to a singularity, right? To the point where you kill pretty much anything in front of you if they don't pressure you, right?
Right. And I'll be honest, having played Mothra, like basically the same list at a local championship, I remember watching it and going, well, he's got 13 foundations. You can play the 13 diff and like ruin them and be a little more aggressive. But that Mothra deck really needs like more than 20 foundations. Like it is not, can I pass this card? It is, can I pass this card and still have more ready foundations than my rival? You know, like that's the level of control you have to have over the game state.
Yeah, I kind of inspired by that. I built an Annie deck that can give it throw. And what I like about that on the chaos symbol is that you can pass those cards earlier on in the game, right?
Right.
And so you can exert some force, which is the one thing that Mothra deck really lacks, is like pressuring early enough to make your opponent like fear, right? Because until then, they're just going to be like, yeah, I mean, I'll hold one. I'm building 6, right? If they figure out what you're doing, right? It's the classic, like if you're playing a deck that is that fully into controlling the game, you just play your whole hand out. And so that's the one thing that I think those decks need, is some way to really like pressure your opponent and say, hey, this is going to be for 50, right? And in that case, for me, right, the only thing I would add to George's deck is the oh goodness, man, you know how bad I am with names. Goodness gracious. There is in the King Ghidorah and Rodan decks, right? Or no, is it?
You're not even naming the right card. Yeah, you're not.
In Earth.
I know which card you're talking about, but you're.
There's a 3-diff. There's a 3-diff that doubles. No, it doesn't even double. It's just called unmatched power. Did I get it wrong?
It's unmatched power.
I thought it was like relentless something, and then.
No.
But it's unmatched.
I know exactly
this one, and then the other the Ghidorah card is the relentless one. That's so funny.
Yeah. I know exactly which card you're talking about because I put 2 copies of Unmatched Power into the version I played at a local championship, and it won me every game.
Yeah, that card's insane.
Yeah,
right. What's better than a 20 speed for 7?
Yeah, every time my rival tried to reset my stats, I just used Mothra or I used Unmatched Power. And it was like, it's still 10 damage.
Right. Yeah,
you know, it's still 13. Like, you have to deal with this.
That's very
so. Yeah, Unmatched Power was a huge game changer. And it's very funny because with Blitz abilities, you can just pass that first enhance and make your rival deal with it. But talking about this game, going back to Bakugo and Irwin, we've got the Rabble Rousing, which gives -1 damage to every attack that gets played for the rest of the turn. So you can use that response when you block with this card, but offensively, it is where almost all of Bakugo's bonus damage is going to come from.
Yeah. I it's interesting because it's so attractive as like a block, right? Like I know some people were thinking about this card in not Woodman. Oh my goodness. What's his name? Conley Woods. Because you could block with it, respond, and then use Conway's enhance again. But like it's seen play pretty much nowhere outside of Bakugo 4 because it's really only good for that, for his +2 on everything move. Sorry, I had to throw my dog into the bed. And get off of me, you goofball. I have to put her away, I think. But we see him building huge after chucking that move out, right? Kind of saying, hey, kill me now or don't, through my invincible body, which okay, having played in this deck as much as, or seen the deck played as much as I have at this point, I think you got to use it as early as possible before they hit one of those loss of consciousnesses.
Yeah, so not only do you have to use it as soon as possible, but the longer you wait, the more likely it is that they're going to have combined firepowers to reset the damage, right, and try to boost it back up. And I would much rather force you, especially like on an attack like this, right?
Yeah.
Azure Inferno, you might wait for it to hit 7, but then immediately you got to rip that Band-Aid off because, like you said, they can seal it, they can flip it from random mill effects. And if you wait to pull it off, then they're going to get more value out of adding damage back to the attack from, you know, later parts in the string. I want you to use all your combined firepowers right now. Get them out of the way. Let me see where they are. Let me know what I'm dealing with for the rest of the turn so I can make more informed decisions.
Yeah, I think you got to press the button if you think you're dying this turn, right? If you don't think you're dying this turn, then, you know, whatever. That's another foundation for you next turn to commit the best checks to play attacks.
But as soon as he puts any amount of damage onto the twisting Azure Inferno, you gotta press the button on your
Right. As soon as a combined firepower response gets played, right? As soon as it can be
Yeah.
their next enhance, because again, a big part of this deck's strength is the fact that there's no seal effect in play. But that doesn't mean Irwin can't seal your foundation.
We see again, just being sent 6 mid for 4. So just a little poke. Just a little poke twisting Azure Inferno.
Yeah, a little interesting footsies here. Valuing some of that momentum, I suppose.
I can't imagine. I guess it's just because he saw a situation where his opponent said pass
Oh.
and he said pass.
It was the always cool. Always cool is missing from the stage. I was looking at your dog.
I was also looking at my dog. Luckily, she has gone home. All right, so
This is an
Sam, what is
obsidian
this?
card.
yeah, what is this?
Ugh.
Sam,
It
what's
drew
this
a-
card?
If I knew what it did, I would know what its name is.
Sam, what's this card?
Wall Maria's Might.
Oh,
I had to
okay. All right.
I saw it draw a card, and it's the only card I know for sure was in Broberg's list that could be an obsidian. So it's seeing the early card draw, and there's no card draw on the stage. My powers of deductive reasoning lead me to believe that this is a Wall Maria's Might.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Sam Tate's a manic genius, and that's what it is. It could be. No, it's just got. Yeah, well, what if? No, it's just Wall Maria's Might. Super sick card though. Interestingly enough, it's like one of the few cards that I felt like wasn't carrying its weight in the deck and felt like a cute addition. Like this is like a card that just seemed okay.
It's very funny because I assume every wall counters character starts with 4 Wall Maria's Might and then goes from there.
And slowly it takes them out, right?
Yeah.
Oh, or builds the rest of their deck around that. Yeah. I certainly love that card a lot. I think that card's really cool. It's just, it feels bad that all of the wall characters, right, the guys who are getting counters want to remove them, except for Hans, right?
Right. That was my beef, was I took them out of Krista because it dictated when I could use my ability to remove 4. And the remove 4 is like so important for drawing what you need. And speaking of drawing what you need, Tri-Gravity Beam doesn't care if you draw what you need, because we're just going to rip it out of your hand. And that Aaron's Trial is going to force you to commit a face-up foundation. We now have only one left. It is that Invincible body. So we have been patient with it, but the time is running out. I feel like you got to rip this off because it could get randomly sealed or flipped right here.
Yeah, I mean, if we haven't responded yet, that was on a 4. You do need to tap one.
There's another one. We're still not doing the Invincible body.
Yeah, I mean, do you think Bakugo enhanced already?
No way. I mean, I don't know what enhance we could have played. There's only one left in the stage.
Yeah, he used the secret text on Syndicate target. Oh, come on.
He used
Come on!
Botan's poaching?
No!
Oh, he used Botons to draw a card. That happened so fast.
Yeah, so I guess what must have happened was the Tri-Gravity removed the card from hand, and then we used
Botons to draw.
redraw after the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess, and then to add insult to injury, we hit another Aaron's Trial to just tap it down after the fact.
This is getting pretty dicey.
Only for 9 right now, right? Looks like there was a judge call. We saw the bottom of our deck. It's getting removed. Hey, another one.
I wonder why we removed the bottom card of the deck.
I think he must have seen it.
Yeah, he dropped it.
Still got to pass that check. I guess we tapped the face down that we built with Irwin. Give it 2 speed.
Still have a lot of leeway as far as passing checks goes, even without the +1 from twisting. But we only have 3 foundations in our stage total, so we could end up in a similar situation as our Genkai's into risky situation from last game.
Yeah. Using Bakugo 4's ability to discard a card from his card pool, which does get to be used on defense. But by the way, I know you've never seen a Bakugo 4 block, Sam, but it's possible.
Barrier Shield Rejuve.
Oh.
What are you talking about?
That is one of the good ones. That is one of the good ones.
You get to block exactly twice.
All right, so that was taken. Does Risky win? With 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 foundations, it would only be for 10. You got to have another move into it. So it would be the Battle Aura on a 7. Yeah, I gotta beef with not using one of these combines during the first twisting. It makes this turn much more like Oh, it's always cool. Duh. I'm stupid. Ignore me. I'm very dumb. Don't
but
talk.
We've now got Battle Aura release coming down, but again, just like previous turns, we don't have any face downs. So the main way that you're playing Battle Aura release is you're flipping your whole stage. You're getting a 4 high for 8, cantrip. And instead, we're seeing these be sent for like 5, 6 damage.
Yeah.
It's just not that impressive. And now we don't even have enough foundations to pay for. Okay, we do get the.
Now you do. You could feasibly make it now, right? Because
3,
of Irwin's
4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we could check a 5. We'd have to check a 6 to play a risky now.
Oh, yeah, because we destroyed a foundation for 2 speed, built one back in, ready. So, I mean, yeah, I guess you just build and pass here.
Or you could commit out for an 8 damage move. I don't know what 4-diff 8 damage move you have if your foundations are face up, right? But this was something where if we could have flipped more foundations throughout the turn, a double Battle Aura release could have sent it for game.
Right. Goodness gracious.
Something that Broberg and I talked about on Orange Card, Blue Card, there's a special 2-part episode that went up this morning.
I saw that.
I had Kevin Broberg on for the first half, and he talked about how as good as the Irwin deck is, right, and as good of a player, as a pilot as you can be behind it, a lot of times for any tournament run, it still requires a lot of things going right. There's still a lot of tiny, little seemingly insignificant things that can go right or go wrong. And I feel like this face down situation and, like the always cool situations with these twisting Azure Infernos, we're willing to play through these suboptimal game states. And normally I'm a big fan of that. Normally I don't think waiting forever for the right moment to come along is the right play. But considering how precarious these situations are, how easy it is for Bakugo to deal 20 damage to you, I think we're taking a lot of unnecessary risk here.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that's tough for me when I play the like laser beam death decks, is that I want to wait for like the right moment. I want to fire the laser at exactly precisely the right time to nuke Alderaan from orbit. But sometimes you just got to try it.
Right.
And we see here the consequence of like maybe not executing it to the fullest degree is that you are very vulnerable on the back end because you use your foundations as fodder, right? It's tougher to get there. Oh, but blocking with a showdown.
Okay.
Brutal, especially if your opponent checked a 3 on their 5 diff. You hit their 1 defensive piece and a bonus foundation. Well, if you were going to survive, that's one way to do it.
You saw an immediate change in attitude
Yeah.
from Bakugo 4 after that. I mean, we started with a rabble rousing. That's our best opener because it gives effectively at the end of everything +2 damage to all of our attacks for the turn.
Right.
And that showdown, or not a rabble rousing, I'm sorry, it's the. No, it was, right?
Yeah, it was rabble rousing.
It was a rabble rousing. Yeah.
Oh, rabble rousing is a 4 diff? That one was definitely a 5.
And it had to be a high attack to get blocked, and rabble, I think, is a low. I might be. No, rabble's a low block. These cards are very difficult to see. I'm not going to lie. They are quite blurry on my end.
It's okay. I'm going to put Angry Yelling. Angry Yelling, I think, was it? Rabble rousing is a high attack. It could have been rabble rousing.
No, it was rabble rousing. I can tell by the art. Yeah,
okay,
it was rabble rousing.
Yeah, maybe we checked the 2, and that's why we had to.
Yeah, it's a low block is what gets me because I never get the block with it. But yeah, so that showdown took our best opener and instead left us wide open.
Yeah, let's see if Max can seal the deal. This is a card that was so good for so long, but I'm starting to take it out of decks.
Which one?
Vile Seizing.
Oh, I've been a Vile Seizing hater for so long. You're trying to tell me a conditional 3/6 is like a UR? Come on.
Well, it has a very relevant deadlock text, right?
Conditional draw. A 3/4 for my UR slot. Come on.
I like that card a lot. It carried the evil symbol for a very long time.
It's so crazy to me that Vile Seizing was like the only way to play Death and Evil for like the first 2 sets it came out. Like it's still being played. I don't know. I get that there's like no other options because when I build decks on those symbols, there isn't another +1 breaker high block. There isn't another useful deadlock, and there isn't another card that draws me a card on the 4 diff slot very often. But man, Vile Seizing just has so much like going wrong for it.
You say going wrong, I say going right. Okay, sir.
Hey, if all of our URs were in the Vile Seizing power level, I'd probably be a much happier player.
So, to quote Sam Tate, I hate Vile Seizing, but if all the URs were Vile Seizing level, I'd be happier.
Correct. That is how that works. I would like to see cards of that power level doing cool things.
Okay,
I do think the make a rival check a 7 or draw a card is probably one of the best, rival checks or I get a bonus cards. That's like one of the most common, card game mechanics you have to play around is card advantage versus resource advantage. And I think it's very cool. I just think a 3 for 4 baseline and my opponent sometimes can just stun 2 and that I have a 3 for 4. I don't know. I'm just not that big of a fan. Also, it's always the easiest attack to block, even when it's in a deadlock scenario. So Vile Seizing is also a sponge for other Vile Seizings and showdowns.
Yeah, that's true. So we see here actually one of the coolest uses of Botens, by the way. Combined firepower got pulled out of the discard pile on milled 4, and we responded with another combined firepower. And Luke said, Botan's coaching, make you draw the last card of your deck. No combined for you.
Ayo. You love to see it.
Yeah, that's a cool play.
We now lose access to Riskies, to combined firepowers. We lose. Hopefully, if you're a Bakugo 4 fan, we're hoping that Irwin loses a lot of the remove synergy cards.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Risky. I think that was 2. Oh, no, that's Attack Titan emerges.
Love that card. That's one that I don't see in enough decks.
Not a terrible cycle for the Bakugo player. Not the worst cycle for the Irwin player. We do see the Knots Flask milling 3, trying to give us some sort of discard pile, see if we can jumpstart, getting a Risky or something like that into the discard pile.
Oh, I see what's happening. You're watching the stream, and I'm
Correct.
watching the one in our VDO room.
Right. The stream has better quality.
I was like, man, Sam has been consistently like 30 seconds back from me.
Oh,
I'm clairvoyant in Sam's eyes, actually.
I was telling David that, I'm watching the stream because the quality is higher.
The quality is higher. Yeah, that's true. I use it to confirm, right? I go back to it.
Now, it's important to know we don't have to deal that much damage here.
No.
As Irwin.
Only at 7, I think, right? And with all of our, I think we only have a Genkai's in our hand, right? So if you just slam something, it's gonna get immediately Genkai'd, which is gonna be very funny because you could, after Genkaizing, right? Oh, hell. No, what if you do? No, you gotta do it, man. You gotta do it. You think you survive? You think you cheeky son of a gun? There's no way. There's no way. There's just no way you live through this. There's a Knots Flask on the table. Why? Oh, okay. It wasn't again, guys. It was a Lunatic. Okay. All right. I thought it was again, guys. They both have that really, really dark background. It's not my fault. I'm amazing, actually. I'm such a good commentator. Everybody at home.
Can you imagine if we just had like the staff to have a guy standing behind both players just on an iPad telling us every card that they have in hand?
Oh god!
Wouldn't that be so nice?
The $1 million scenario. They would feed us the name of cards, so I wouldn't have to struggle. I wouldn't be out here just like, oh, Cam, what's the name of the gift?
Yeah. So Bakugo is going to concede there to Irwin. Irwin Smith wins round 2. The winner from the Atlanta Regional. It's a slightly different deck, right? But we do expect Irwin Smith to make it pretty far. What's another deck that you expect to make it pretty deep into this tournament, Bromley?
Specifically from this event?
Yeah.
Man, I mean, I saw the chart of all of the decks.
Yeah, all the characters that are represented here.
I think today, here, now, is Ryukyu's time to shine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can dig it. I think Ryuku...
Go ahead, sorry.
I think Ryuku does pretty well into a more diverse format. I think the bad matchups that she has, and she has, I think she has a very general matchup spread, right? Like she's very 50-50 into almost every deck. But the few bad matchups that she has are some pretty popular characters. I do think she struggles to block those really big Smiling Titan attacks.
Sure.
I think a lot of people have shifted over to the all symbol specifically to have access to things like Beauty Pageant Queen, a way to deal with those really, really fast attacks. But for the most part, the Life and the Earth builds don't really have any defense into them. So having a more diverse spread is probably going to help Ryukyu compared to previous events, right?
Yeah, I think that this is the day. This is the day. And not only because there's only one smiling Titan at this event, but also because I think she plays a criminal amount of cards into the card pool. And what better place to do that than at the Oceania regional, you know? Oh, it's in New Zealand, not Australia. Dang. I thought I was making a funny joke.
It's the Oceania region.
Okay. Yeah, Australia's involved. Or, you know,
Technically it's both.
Yeah, okay, all right.
They have events in both. But that's going to do it for our round 2. We're going to go hunt down a match for round 3. You guys let us know down in the comments below of all the characters you haven't seen yet. Which ones do you want to see next? Because there's a pretty decent chance that if everything aligns smoothly, we can get every single character on stream.
If we had, 6 rounds? You could do it exactly.
Well, there's 4 rounds plus top 4, so there's exactly 6 rounds. There is an exact outside shot that we can have every single player on stream in a unique.
That would be wild.
It's statistically almost impossible.
All right, yeah, I'm in.
All right, we're gonna take a break. Don't go anywhere, guys. You're not gonna want to miss a minute of this regional season 3 action in the Oceania region. We've got a lot of great matchups for you. Excuse me. And I don't know how much time is left in the round, but it can't be much. So we're going to be back real soon for you guys.
Yep. See you soon.